Hi guys, Hail Mary meets everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene, and I'm doing a video here on the porch. I guess by the time I got home from the soup kitchen, I got to the soup kitchen kind of late again, and so instead of wasting my time trying to rush in to a half-assed, half-baked video, I decided to do one here on the porch instead. So what are we going to talk about today? Today I want to talk about Asperger's and autism, and some of our favorite things, things I noticed for a lot of other people with autism and Asperger's. We seem to have really weird hobbies, and I never really got a chance to talk about some of mine and why I love phone systems so damn much. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. And I also am interested in other things too, and I thought I would share some of those as well. Unfortunately, I don't have any of that stuff with me, so it's all going to be words, so you don't have to watch the pictures. Really nothing to see. Something about Asperger's and autistic sufferers is we love hobby. We have strange collections. We collect strange stuff, mechanical stuff, and electronics and electrical stuff. Get us our juices flowing. Don't ask me why. It just is. I mean, like, one of my favorite things besides snow. Phone systems, fire alarms, burglar alarms, and yes, I do like elevators as well. Okay, but if I had to go by the things that I love from least to most, and sometimes it's pretty hard to say why, the least loved, but I still like looking at them, is elevators. To be honest, elevators are cool, but they don't go up and down, right? So, not really that exciting, unless you're looking at the videos like Diesel Doocy when you're seeing the control switch room in the elevator, and you see all the little relays clicking and clacking as they're going between different floors. That's when it gets fun. Actually looking at the control board of an elevator, which is in the cab, it's not so fun. Okay? I certainly had the pleasure of riding many elevators over my life, including a crank type, several crank type elevators, where you pull a lever to go up and down, and I've also been in the more modern version, which uses little push buttons up and down. And you push the button in, it goes up, push the other button in, and it goes down. In fact, there's one of those freight elevators in Halliburton, Whiting Mills. You can actually use it's a freight elevator. I've used it a couple times when my leg was really hurting, to take the elevator up to the 4th floor. My friends don't really know how to use the buttons. They get a little bit scared. I had Ed and Dory with me at the time, and they didn't quite understand how the elevator worked. And of course, I'm like, oh, this is easy. And we just got in. I said, keep all your hands and fingers within the car, please, because there was no doors on it except for the outer door. So, you know, you don't want to get your arm caught inside and because it has no horsepower, it'll rip your arm off. So, anyway, so pretty fun, pretty simple elevator to understand. I could even draw a circuit of how it works. It's really not that hard to figure out. The next thing I find interesting is, and I guess you can kind of say they're in the same league, but they're really not, because there is a little difference, is fire alarm systems and burglar alarm systems. They're pretty close to piqued my interest. I just started getting into fire alarm systems, so I'm really kind of still new at it, really new as far as how it all works, but I find it really interesting that unlike burglar alarm systems, most fire alarm systems are really very simple. Where like a burglar alarm system usually has a system where it uses like a panic button. It's nothing more than a doorbell connected to a latching relay. Fire alarm system pull boxes are usually considered regular on-off switches that when you pull the lever down, it stays down because you can't get back inside the box and turn the switch off. Very fun to imagine. Also, many fire alarm systems are still pretty much electromechanical. Until recently, apparently the Simplex company made a lot, as did American Systems, to make these alarm systems that use mechanical coding wheels and things like that. Now, by the way, what's my favorite kind of noisemakers? I probably wonder that. I prefer the bell sound. That's why I have, in my phone system, I have one Model 500 telephone with a bell, which unfortunately has a hard time always constantly ringing. I think that might be a problem with the phone system, which is then my most favorite thing is phone system. So, and that is top number one. Okay, phone systems. I have to admit that there's something about phones. They just kind of get my creative juices going. You know, when you really think about how a phone system works, it's still mind blowing. It's why I have my own personal PBX system here, so because I don't have to worry about tying up the central office, plugging in phones and testing phones. I can just basically plug them into one of the jacks on the 0112 board with built-in ring generators and test them and ring them and call myself and things like that, and plug modems into one jack and then modem in the other jack and call my own bulletin board or whatever I want to do with the modem. And I still love bulletin boards too, without going to the phone system because it goes into communications. So everything for me with phones is my favorite kind of phone system, by the way, is the 1A2 KSU, which is basically in cord boards. I love the old plug and jack cord board phone systems too because they're so cool. I mean, you got all these plugs and you got all these jacks and you got rows of buttons, and there's controls like how you ring the phone, and you have sometimes 2, sometimes 3 rows of jacks, different colors. The black and the ones in the front was more for in-house. The reds in the back were sometimes for outcalling on central office trunks, and of course sometimes there was another row of jacks behind that. Really fun. I just don't have time to show you all those pictures right now of cord boards. But I would admit, I definitely would love to build one. I did find a couple schematics for building a cord board, and I was going to build one, but unfortunately, I didn't have the resources from cash at the time. Maybe now, with YouTube money and coming in, we can finally build a rudimentary cord board and phone system and show you how it works. Now, speaking of phone systems, I want to talk to you about, and one of my favorite things about the old cord board phone systems, and even our current phone system, because our current phone system has this feature called automatic ring down, which means that if you pick up a phone, say that doesn't have a rotary dial or touch tone dial, it just completes the circuit and then sounds a buzzer or a bell, whatever, at a predefined extension. That system is what you sometimes see for in kiosks to directly contact, say, whoever the number is assigned to. Back in the old days, it would be usually a direct one-to-one connection. They didn't use the public switch telephone network, which is, you cannot see it, but inside either the phone or inside the cabinet itself, there would be a little electronic chip dialer that would dial the number for you. It's kind of cool. I built a homemade switchboard many years ago. It uses switches. I had a couple phones all wired in series. Phone 1 would be wired into phone 2, and then of course when the phone 2, which was the antenna's phone, was hung up, and the switch would be toggle switch would be flipped to ring. When you picked up the phone 1, it would produce enough current that wasn't too high that would cause the buzzer to buzz, and that's the way it worked. And it was really simple to make, and I kind of wish I still had it, but I can easily reproduce it today. It's nothing very fancy. Now, how did I ever get involved with burglar alarms? Well, when you're about 13 years old and you got a sister who steals your comic books, you clearly start to wonder if, how can you secure your stash of Archie comics? So I started to design a simple security alarm. And I remember that my mom one time came in to wash my windows, and she didn't notice the alarm on the wall was armed. And so she opens the window, which of course causes the magnetic switch to open, and of course the alarm starts screaming. Fortunately, I didn't have a real siren. It was just a little electromechanical buzzer, but it still scared the hell out of her badly. And she figured out, since I had it plugged into a wall wart in a while, to still plug the wall wart, which actually technically resets the alarm system. Yeah, stupid, but for about 15, 16 or so, you really can't say it was unreasonable. I just make the best of what I had. The phone system I got now, what the hell am I planning on that? Well, I'm actually interested in getting another 1A2 mechanical telephone KSU and connect it into the system on the 0112 board, so I can have a standard AT&T 565 rotary dial phone connected to 4 extensions numbers, say 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. And that way, I could do things like call and maybe set up a hunt group, so that if for some reason the first line's busy, it automatically will ring through to the second line and things like that. Really kind of fun. That's the kind of stuff I'd like to do. Never had a problem with electronic phone systems or electronic rotary dial or touch tones. But I gotta be honest when I say this, I prefer to watch the mechanical things because they're fun to watch. I mean, like a rotary dial is actually kind of cool. If you actually dial, you see the contact going against this cam, it's going ba 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 ba. So as you're turning the finger wheel, it causes this thing to make and break a contact. It's really kind of cool that way. Okay, quite a difference from touch tones, which just would just make dual tone, multiple frequency. That's what DTMF means, right? So, and they're kind of boring. Even my Merlin Legend switch is kind of boring. It just sits there in the corner. It's electronic. It's just nothing mechanical with it at all. It's just, But plug in a 1A2 KSU with interrupter and flashes, lights, and stuff like that. Then you get to something that kind of gets my juices going. I like mechanical stuff, but I've been working with electronics and mechanical shit since I was way, way, way younger than most people can imagine. I was messing with the stuff all the way back to when I was 3 years old. So, I love mechanical crap. It's just, and some of it, I have to be honest, some of it is crap. I mean, by today's spec. I mean, for example, the old fire alarms that used to have a sequence that used to go, which common one was 4444, which basically means rings 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, pause, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. Well, that's all done by using a mechanical wheel that basically is being turned by a small electric motor, which has little teeth that actually, a leaf switch is constantly closing because of that reason. So when there's a tooth there, the connection completes and the circuit closes, and of course the bell or the horns or whatever or lights would turn on. And when there's no nothing closing the switch because there's no tooth there, it stays quiet. So I've been thinking, I'd like to make something out of all those rotten coasters I sometimes make on computers. Take a CD and do kind of a hybrid That is instead of using necessarily teeth, but rather use something like a CD would do, but instead of having a laser read it, but rather have an LED read it, and then maybe a photodiode. And then what it would do is, when if there's light, i.e. there's no tape or something blocking the light, it doesn't do anything. It will just spin quietly by itself. And then when you put a piece of electrical tape or your Ray Protect tab from a 5 1/4 inch floppy disk, whatever, on top, the sensor sees the darkness and says, okay, the phototransistor would complete the circuit, and the thing would cause the fire alarm to make a buzz or honk or whatever. That's the kind of thing I would do. Really kind of simple things like that. I figured, as like I said, that you probably might enjoy getting to know the more of the background of. Then you may be asking this question: is what is it about these things that gets Aspies and autistic, high functioning, and even low functioning autistic people excited? I think it's probably the same thing that probably got Leonardo da Vinci going. As maybe he had Asperger's. I don't know. And the point it's the mechanical machine, the automaton that's doing these things by itself. And you get to watch the gears and the cogs and the cams just kind of moving around and doing all that. Whereas with electronics, it's like there's really no show, if you will. It's just basically a PC board. In the case of the symbol alarm, using a 4444 sound that could be easily done with a 555 timer, maybe even two 555 timers, one to make the initial bleats, and then the other one that controls the pause in between the bleats. But that's kind of boring, you can't really see it. There's no excitement there. But when you're actually watching a physical wheel turning and you're seeing this little leaf switch is closing and opening and closing and opening, and there's just something magical about that. And that's something that's one of the reasons why I love what I do is the North American Snow Queen, by the way. It's the same thing. I get to see the weather and how the clouds are making it rain and how they're affecting the amount of sun, which is affecting the wind, which is affecting temperature and barometric pressure. Same thing. So I get really my jollies out of watching the weather and how the weather systems interact, because it just excites me. I hope that this gives you a little bit of background about who I am, what I do. This is obviously would be, I don't know if we would call this a vlog or maybe a bio. I'll probably call it a vlog today, but it's really more of a bio. If you really want to know more about me, and you got the time, send me a comment, and I will read it, and I will try to respond to your comment in a timely fashion. And I hope that, also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you look on the bottom of your lower right-hand corner on most browsers playing videos, you see a little blue square that says subscribe NASQ. If you click on that little box, it'll bring you to my page, and you'll see you can subscribe, and click on the little bell icon so that you can be notified when new videos come up and have fun. And I will talk to you and, of course, answer your questions as best I can. Apparently, my number-based video is very popular. I mean, I wasn't even expecting to get as many people interested in that word. I mean, because it was kind of esoteric, and some people liked it, and I finally got 2 thumbs up on it, which is one. I put 1 in because I was really happy when it came out, and of course, somebody else liked it too, and I'm glad that. So apparently you like that kind of stuff, and I like doing it, but, so anyway, for the time being, thanks for watching this, guys. I hope you enjoyed this special little video, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.